You're watching the Flint Film Foundation Podcast, hosted by Flint, Michigan Films, created inside the Dort Mall. The Flint Film Foundation is a local nonprofit focused on creating community impact through film, television, and social content with an emphasis on education and community storytelling. If you'd like to learn more, please visit flintfilmfoundation.org. Hi, Cory James Taylor.
Hello, Melissa Miller.
With Flint, Michigan Films.
Yes, I am with Flint, Michigan Films, and I am the vice president. We decided today of the
That's so funny.
Flint
We're like,
Film
what
Foundation.
title do you get for, or as representing Flint Film Foundation? And we came up with vice president. There's a bunch of different options.
Yeah. Well, I think, like we have like the titles that like that show what we do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but then we have like the titles of like, this is your title. This is the thing, you know what I mean?
That's the thing that goes on the business card.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, so vice president. And then am I executive director or president then?
I think whatever you...
You know what? I think you made me business cards for Christmas, and I think they actually say president on them.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Nice. We're so good at this. Just the best nonprofit / business owners.
Well, okay. So I don't know. There's kind of lots that we could talk about. And I know it's kind of, is it weird just the two of us right now?
I don't say it's weird. I think the minute like it started rolling, I was like, oh, okay, I remember how to do this. But it's been a month. And then like normally we have like a guest to focus on. You know what I mean? Like when you're uncomfortable, you focus on other people so you don't have to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's going well so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're not.
Yeah, we've already alienated Preston. That was great. One of my favorite things that's happened so far.
Lord, that kid's gonna need counseling.
I think we are his counseling. I think he had a huge ego, and I think we knocked it down to an appropriate level, and I think he's better for it. I think that's funny. Speaking of Jordan Brown, like. Jordan Brown was. Remember we had the Sippy cohort here, the Good Trouble, and I was like, I feel like bullying is like a thing that you don't get a lot of anymore. Like I feel like bullying is an underrated skill development.
Man, I feel like our leadership mentorship styles are so different.
100%.
They're so different.
But I feel like I think that's also me. Like I feel like I got picked on a lot as a kid, and I feel like I needed it. I was one of those people that kind of. You
thrived from it? Like do you feel like it made you thicker skinned, stronger, kind of?
It definitely made me funny, which I think is...
You do. You have said that to me. You're like, I get my humor from being bullied.
Yeah. But I mean, I also like, it never changed who I was as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I just always kind of, you learn to adapt in your environment kind of thing. And I think it made me stronger. I think it made me funnier. And then it made me, I was the guy who was it was like an 80s thing, like an 80s and early 90s trope. Like you get bullied and then you learn karate and then you beat up the bully. And so like growing up with that in movies, I was like, I did. I got like really... My first like real fight in that Christmas, I was like, Mom, I want karate lessons. So that's how I started karate. So she got me karate lessons, and then she got me like a punching bag, and then like a total gym. You know what I mean? So
how old were you?
Let's see. I was in middle school. Like the first time I got in like a real school fight. Like before it was like high school stuff, or we would like pretend to wrestle and kind of pick on each other. But yeah, I got just like 1, 2, 3, and I was just standing there. I was proud of myself for taking it. But also like, man, that's not going to happen again.
Copy that.
But yeah.
I think that
80s trauma. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's good to talk about like who's Cory James Taylor. Like you grew up in Flint. Mm-hmm. So people that don't know or haven't never watched us, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I was born in Ohio.
Just for a little while though.
Yeah, like a year and some change. And then I grew up in Flint, graduated from Flint Central, RIP, which actually it's going to be interesting to see what Flint Central becomes. You can go ahead.
That's so bad, you're in the middle of a podcast and your phone goes off like that. I thought you want to check yours real quick.
Yeah, I do actually. I just want to make sure. Yeah, rule number 1 on being a film set: silence all cell phones.
Yeah, okay. Before you're starting.
But I mean, anyway, so grew up in Flint, went to Flint Central, joined the Army. After that, it was like 2008, and Quicken Loans hadn't done his thing yet. It was like 2008, late 2008. So
you had a son during all that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, like all things. Like you did, your dad.
Mm-hmm. I am a father.
Yep.
But yeah, so I went there. Then afterwards, couldn't move here. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And so I was like, okay, like, my son's still at a good age where, he doesn't quite, I'm there and I see him, a month out of the year, sometimes he'll come visit me, but I knew that like I had to continue on and like do an education or get something because there was like nothing happening in Detroit or Flint or just anywhere in Michigan.
What year did you say that was?
2008. So like prime economic collapse and to the fact where everybody in the Army was like, why are you getting out? It's the worst. And I was just like, yeah, I just don't want a mom and dad for, a couple years. Like I can always come back if I didn't like it. So I moved to New Mexico because when you get out of the Army, you can kind of go anywhere and you get like, not citizenship, but like you get residency there. So you're wherever you land afterwards. So I was like, okay, cool. If I got my residency in New Mexico, it was one of the places that had free education. So you get your first 2 years for free there when you're a resident. So I did that. I went to community college there and thought I was going to do a physics major. Then I thought I was going to do chemistry, which I really enjoyed it, but I just didn't want to be like in a lab all the time.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sure there's probably tons of chemists that are out in the field, but at the time I was just like, I don't want to be a lab. So then paramedic program was like, okay, cool. I get to know, like, I get to work with people, but not too long because I was like, I don't like people that much. At least I thought. And then the more I kind of started working in the field and starting to get around people that I was helping, I was like, oh, I actually really, really enjoy people. So that was kind of where I learned that. And then was hanging out with a friend who had done some video work when we were working. I was working at the car wash. And then I delivered pizzas afterwards. But I was working in the car wash, and so he was like, hey, I got this camera. And I was like, cool. He's like, here. And so he started like doing video editing and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like this. What if I do photos? So like I had like a 8-megapixel Samsung flip. I don't know I think it was a flip. No, it was one of the first like Samsung cameras. Anyway, I think it was like a Galaxy something like it was the Note maybe. And then so I just started taking pictures and posting them on Facebook, and everybody really, really liked it. And then so I think like a week or two later, had a little extra money and bought like a Nikon camera. And then somebody gave me like a nifty 50 lens, and showed me like video mode and basically introduced me to drugs, kind of, you know what I mean? The camera, not the actual drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please clarify that.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, and then
that's how you fell in love?
Yeah, I went home and made my first video that kind of night, and I was like, oh man, like I don't, this is kind of what I wanted to do. It was just really neat. It was just on the fly. One of our bands there, because like in Albuquerque, you don't see, like here you see cover bands. You know what I mean? Like you go out to the bar, it's a cover band. In Albuquerque, you would, like if you were seeing cover bands, it was like jazz, piano, and stuff like that, but you didn't see like a lot of like cover bands. It was like a lot of original bands, so you could always go around and film different bands with their own unique styles and everything like that. But yeah, so I just kind of enjoyed doing that, and we made a few little pieces. Like we had like this game place. They were doing like board games and stuff like that, so we did like a little promo for their game they had coming out. And after I decided I wanted to change, I was like, well, I don't think I want to complete the paramedic program. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, now it's time. I think it would be time to come home. And Michigan at the time had a film incentive program, and we started this thing called Occupy Underground, which was, we'd have like a podcast, nothing like what we have now, but it's a podcast where you invite musical guests and host on. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to do that here, but in Flint. And so when I came back to Flint, it was a big change.
When did you come back?
2013.
Okay.
I finally came back. So I remember we had an End of the World party in December 2012, and in that spring I came back. And I had a camera, and I started kind of doing the same thing. It was like I knew, I was going to bars and doing people's shows. So I, started taking photos at bars. Sherman's was a big one because they would do like a lot of live music and stuff like that.
Did you ever realize like that filmmaking at the time was a career that you could actually make a living at? Did you ever think about it like that?
No, it's funny. I never did. And that was, I think, I remember when I did make that music video, and I kind of knew there was like I remember like actually like crying because I never thought that I had anything creative inside of me. I never thought I was a creative person. I never thought I had any talent when it came to the arts at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like being an artist I was such like a logical kind of person, at least in my mind at the time. It was so just like not abstract at all. This is A is B, or A is A, B is B, C is C kind of thing. So I just never felt like I had anything creative inside of me at all.
Okay.
But part of that, when I was making that, I remember like I would just zone out all the time in class, or when we were driving, and I would be making these kind of like movies. Of course, you know, like being a kid, I was the main guy, kind of like in the movie Sidekicks. You know what I mean? I was just going on adventures and jumping over my neighbor's fences, and we would play guns as kids, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I remember having like fun with that. So I was like, I was always doing those things. I just never like put a one-to-one like, oh, I could do this forever. I could basically, how I say is when we work a lot, especially in the movies, it's like, oh, we're just playing pretend, but like professionally now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So cool. I wish like somebody would have introduced me to like the fact that film is jobs, because I loved film. Watched a ton of movies. Like that was my thing. I'd watch movies, television shows, cartoons. Anime wasn't as big back then yet. It was like, you know, you watch Dragon Ball Z, and then like Samurai Jack, and Inuyasha was coming out. So it was like anime had just kind of started hitting too. Okay. So, but yeah, no idea that I ever wanted to do anything creative.
So you came back 2013, you said. Mm-hmm. And then that's just kind of, you gave up paramedic school. You left that in Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. Came back. Did you end up going to school? Like, did you just start learning from being around people that knew? Like, how that?
It started. I mean, like I had the camera. You know what I mean? I didn't have lights or anything. I had like absolutely nothing. But I had a 35 millimeter and a 50 lens, so I would go take band photos. And eventually people would pay for it. But like a lot of it was just like getting settled. When I first got back, it was getting settled, getting into class. And then I did start class that fall. Once I got once I kind of find my footing, I went back to delivering pizzas, which still is one of my favorite jobs. Yeah. To this day.
I had one of those too. Yeah. I love being a little gas station clerk because it was fun just talking to all the people that would randomly come in all the time. Same people. You're
really, really good at that. I've got usually I've got 5 to 10 minutes with a stranger, and then afterwards I'm like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted from conversation now. Thank you for coming.
That's what I think. We partner well together with that.
Yeah, I have no problem going up to people and starting a little bit of a conversation, but I don't know, for some reason my brain is like, I don't know. It's like, oh, what's that person doing? Oh, what's that person doing?
Your ADHD kind of hits in.
Yeah. I mean, every now and again, you're like, but I think that's what I like about this is like, I get to just ask kind of questions, and then they get to, and so it continuously sparks my curiosity.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing I should start doing more. It's just asking 1,000 questions at a networking event.
Well, and then you learn a whole bunch. I think the best part about doing that is being the one to listen and ask the questions. If you learn how to ask good questions, it's like one of the best things that you can learn how to do, especially with networking and working with people. So yeah, get good at that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a skill that I've learned to develop over time, especially doing what we do. You just get to I love going to interviews and learning about a new subject, or learning about a person, or understanding what they've went through, or the problem that they're trying to solve. A lot of times, I think a lot of our people in the industry, when you get to an interview and you're just they're kind of nodding out, where I'm like,
tell me more.
Yeah. I'm always locked in with interviews. I love them. That's why I love doing documentaries so much. Just getting to learn. I'm super excited about our next one coming up. With the Fisher House doc. That's going to be really nice.
Yeah, so this is fun because I know very little about what we're going to do. So we're taking the whole crew. We're driving out to Virginia on the 1st of June, which just happens to be a couple days from now, but it will be over by the time this podcast gets out there.
Facts. It went very smoothly.
What went very smoothly?
It was a joke.
Oh, heard. That went right over my head. So it's going to the Fisher House, veteran documentary. What's the topic? Do you know any of that?
So the Fisher House is a place basically kind of like a house for the wives of veterans or husbands, the spouses, family members, whoever's taking care of the veteran, to stay while the veteran is receiving treatment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and this young man, well, he's probably not young. He's probably, I want to say he's not Vietnam. He might be a Vietnam vet. Had spinal cancer, had to have a bunch of surgeries. She and his wife ended up staying at the Fisher House for 3 months.
Wow.
While he was receiving care and specialized treatment. So
is it more about the Fisher House or the family that?
I think it's about their individual story told as the capabilities of the Fisher House. Cool. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Of course, the Fisher House, they're footing the bill for it, but they're doing it through telling the story of just, like how they impacted these lives.
I love it. So I'm excited. Well, I think that's been my favorite part of getting to be in this little film world, because I do not come from a background of film. I've gotten in because, when we met, you started taking me on sets and I started falling in love. Documentaries are definitely have been my favorite too, because I love storytelling and getting to know the people behind there. So I think one of my favorite ones was with Umoja. Has been like, well, Umoja was the original one that you did before me, but reuniting. Why can't I think about his name right now?
Yeah,
Johnson.
Oh, Asamu.
Asamu, yeah, thank you.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Asamu with his daughter and son, which was pretty stinking cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Random thought is we were talking about documentary, and I think that's been are those stories. I don't think you forget stories like that, or even Whaley stuff. Whaley stuff.
For the better or for the worse, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I remember that one time you came home from working a documentary about a family like murder thing, and you were so distraught about it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was definitely like I was the DP on that, and like, but I also was the sound guy. I was like one of those like, small one band crew. Like, I kind of did everything that day, like did the lighting, did the audio, did the thing. So I had to monitor audio. Sometimes, like when I'm not doing the question asking, I can like focus on the monitoring of things and everything. But that one like was in my head the entire time, and just hearing like, it was her delivery of like, it was just such a like, this is the facts, this is what happened, this is what I lived through. Like how she delivered that. There was no crying, there was no nothing. It was just like kind of not like cold, but like almost like a cut. She had cut herself off from that.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I remember she had 4 kids that her husband had basically like murdered in front of her. You know what I mean? And then afterwards, I spent about like 30 minutes just like with a camera going through every single individual photo of the kids. And I just remember for like 30 minutes thinking like, every single person in this photo is dead.
Yeah.
And that woman watched it all. So, I mean, and that's a hard thing, you know what I mean? I don't do those very often, the crime show docs. Like I've done Netflix, but I didn't have to hear like all the details for that because I was just lighting. I would light, make the interviews good, and then I would dip out. You know what I mean? And be versus that one, like I was in the room the entire time, everything about it, and it was like I did another one about the guy in Grand Blanc, or it was not Grand Blanc. I think it was a Wasso, but yeah, he basically like got some young man and like. Basically kept him in his dungeon for a week, a basement, I call it, But, and like just, like 8 parts of them. And to me, that was so wild. but like I just listened to it and I didn't have anything afterwards. Like I didn't have any visual representation of it. That one, I don't know why it didn't bother me. I think it was the mother's delivery of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was just you couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, and you couldn't believe that she was standing there delivering such a like matter of fact statement.
Right. Well, it was an anniversary, I think, too. That episode was in like 10 years. So it's probably like a story that she's had to tell, you know, like multiple times maybe because it's so crazy. But I don't know. I think that's why I love documentaries, but there's so much more to filmmaking than, you know, like documentaries. So tell me like what you have done, like all of the things. You talk about having been part of the Transformers movies. You've done, again, I mean, you've traveled the world filmmaking. Like what has been like I feel like it's such a broad question, but like your favorite thing?
Oh, I mean, favorite thing, I guess in general, like just about filmmaking, or are you talking about like the things that I've done?
Yeah, we'll start there. You're right. Like, do you have a favorite memory of the journey? And what have it been, 11 years, right?
My favorite thing, and that I'm constantly like just excited by the progress, you know what I mean? Like of where we've come, where I started, like, you know, 2013, I had like a DSLR, like Nikon, before they even had any clue what video was really, and like a PVC rig that I had built, and I had put like a little light on it, but I had completely like built this jerry rig handle for because like back then, they didn't have small rig, really wasn't coming out with anything. Like every camera didn't have a cage for you to build, so you could build it out to you had to kind of like makeshift your own a lot of times, or you had to spend like a ton of money for something that kind of didn't really fit the vibe. So like, you know, I just kind of built everything like from scratch kind of, but you know, no lights. And then just, you know, I remember like the first time I won lights on eBay, I won like 2-foot-4 Kino flow banks, and they're these like fluorescent tubes, kind of like you would see in the ceiling, but they have this internal ballast that helps regulate the gas that goes inside, so it would keep like a really nice color, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't color shift, like turning green or magenta, or, you know, because you remember like a lot of movies back in the day, like when they'd use fluorescents were like real green and gross. And if you like that look, it's great. But if you don't, you were screwed. So then KinoFlow came out with these tubes. But yeah, so I was, but they were old at the time, but I was so happy. I think I won them for like $500. So those were my first like interview lights.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And now we're 10 years in. You have a studio. You have a 16-foot trailer full of gear.
I have more gear than I ever know
what to do with. How many storage? I know. Storage room, a whole amazing crew.
Yeah. Well, I think too, not even just like the gear wise, but just like the capabilities of what I can accomplish, what the crew can accomplish now. Even just a year from now when we started, like Flint Michigan Film's been a thing for a long time. Like, you know, I told you I wanted to go. We started Occupy Underground, it was like a thing to like get people out there, get to their local community, check out things, and so that was. And then I tried to go underground, Occupy Michigan here, or Occupy Underground Michigan here, and I just never could get the help that I needed. I didn't know enough to kind of do that, but. It was always a thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to have a community platform that, you know, engages the community, that shows off the community, that promotes creativity, that promotes artists. And yeah, so like the past year with, you know, getting the studio, we've been finding the crew. Like, you know, Josh was my intern for a long time. It was just me and Josh for, I don't know, on about a year and a half. And then Gavin and Preston came in, and then you started, you know, be like, okay, cool, I could run this nonprofit side.
Yeah.
But, you know, and now we're getting ready to do our first classes.
Yay. 5 workshops.
Yeah, which I think we'll have completed our first one when this comes out. So the second one will be lighting.
Yeah, lighting.
And that's going to be June 14th?
June 14th is the second one.
Yep, lighting.
And then if this just happens to be out after that, the next one is going to be the 28th.
Yeah, I think we'll come in right before that. So yeah, the first one will be coming up this Sunday.
Yeah.
will be, the 14th. And then, but yeah, I'm always just constantly, I love the growth of this. You know what I mean? Like I love that I could do this for the rest of my life and not know anything about this. You know what I mean? Because it's a subjective thing, it's an objective thing, it's an art, but it's commerce at the same time. You know what I mean? So I think I explained is that like there's not a part of the human condition that filmmaking doesn't touch. And everyone's like, well, what age group is your target audience? Or what age group are you trying to reach? I'm like, everybody. I want to get a grandma out there interviewing people at the old folks' homes, talking about somebody's life because she knows she took our class and she's like, I souped up my iPhone and I know how to live them. And I'm just going to tell the story of Doug. You know what I mean?
I love that.
But
you just made me want to go to some senior citizens' home and tell some stories.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of the goal
smart.
is that everybody has a creative thing in them. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something that makes them unique.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just finding that, cultivating that in people, you know what I mean? Whether it leads to a job or it leads to a hobby or it leads to you telling a story.
Helping somebody else by your story. Yeah. That's what I always think. I always think that my true belief is that you go through things to learn things, to be able to help other people go through those things as well. I think storytelling is so important.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of what separates us from the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I mean, the other species of the planet, you know what I mean, is that we tell these stories. We've, since the beginning, since the campfire started, it's like, yeah, we got more protein in our brain, but then we started passing out like, hey, dude, I was like about, 300 feet that way. And I think there's a bear that way. So like, don't go that way. And people are like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, that part of the woods is off limits, but it continued to grow. Like, oh man, I just checked out this river. We can all have water. You know what I mean? So I think the storytelling or the telling your story or telling your tale is so ingrained to who we are, how we've thrived, how we've been able to grow as a species, you know what I mean? And to affect the world in the way that we have is because we tell each other stories, we share experiences, we help each other to grow in their art. We trade art for art, you know what I mean? Or we trade task for task. Like, I'm not a plumber, you know what I mean? but I can tell a story, you know what I mean? So like, hey, I can help your business grow if you can help do some plumbing work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need that right now.
Yeah. Cool.
That's good.
But yeah, so, I mean, what's your favorite part about the filmmaking so far?
I really love being a set mama. I've dubbed myself a set mama, but my heart is to care and take care of people. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm on set, I can help crew, but I also am engaging and helping and loving on like our talent and the people that are there to make them comfortable to be able to tell that story and to make it kind of full. Like I love that organizational part of it. And, like when it comes to the Flint Film Foundation and that part of it, I think it just goes hand in hand with what and how, like what I want to do, but I just get to direct it into the creative community now, which I've also grown to. I never thought of myself as being creative either, but it's been fun to be part of that little magic. Like, I don't think anybody understands what happens behind the camera unless you're behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Like people go watch movies or see TVs or documentaries and they're just watching that. They don't realize all the cool amazing talent that's behind the camera making it all happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, oh, they've just got really nice camera and they've got really nice, light and stuff like that. And it's like, no, it's like it takes a really thoughtful way to craft not only your images, especially like in film, of course, we craft your images, but craft your story. You know what I mean? In general, but it's like, it's not just if you have a camera, but it's how are you composing your shots? What shot is going to link into the other one? How is this going to cut in the edit? Like what story is going to, or what B-roll is going to go over this, if any, you know what I mean? So there's a real like crafting that takes time and that takes energy and that takes passion and it takes people. I mean, there's a lot of content creators out there that are so good at capturing very quick, very, fun, easy, simple content. And then there's like the people that's like, we're going to craft the story. We're going to go grab this. We're going to tell the interview. You know what I mean? So there's multiple ways to do it. But yeah, I really I lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. That happens. No, it's, yeah, kind of like to that. There's 6 people working the shot at one time, right? Or setting up an interview, like all the things that go into that. Yeah. Setting up the lights, making sure that the audio is working. People just see the image and they just think it's somebody with a camera. So that's why I love that we're doing these workshops to show people like that's actually going to be one of our workshop is, working on set and kind of what that looks like. But you really don't know. And I love that we're doing it for people that really don't know or people that and people that have experience because it is. Filmmaking's like a collaborative art. Like you need a whole bunch of different people that are good at a whole bunch of different things to make something great.
Yeah, I mean, next time, not even like a Marvel movie, but next time you just go to a movie, just sit for the credits for a minute. That
part. I've never sat through the credits really until I started dating you and getting into the film world, but those dang credits matter. Yeah. Like all those people worked hard, like days, long hours, making something pretty incredible. Like, congratulations, by the way, Mr. 5-time Telly winning this year. Yeah. That's pretty exciting.
It is fine. Yeah, it is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Yeah, cool. I won.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It is. No, it's fun. But and I love that they're all different projects, like different different projects, different things that you've worked on. You take the art and you make it your way, and I think there's something special about the way that you see things that I don't think other people do.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of all of us. You know what I mean? Right. I think what I have been blessed to do is to be able to do it in a space where I can refine that type of image. Like, you know what I mean? I was just having the image or the story or really take my time with it. I was just talking to a photographer and I was like, I love taking photos, but I don't like man on the street. I'm here taking photos. Like if I were to take photos, I would want to build sets and craft like a single image or a certain amount of lighting or try, like, you know what I mean? Like that. I like that thing, being able to craft it, being able to take it and to do the things. Because, I was talking with Jeff at the University of Michigan. We do end up doing like kind of like a little bit of mix of videography and documentary and but like these little mini docs on just what the awesome things that they're doing at the CIT and their CIT program out there. It's really awesome. But even learning about like just like the grant making. So how do we take videography? Like that's what I think normally what they were going for was like event coverage and, like, hey, we want to just kind of capture this. And so what we've been able to do is take it and like, okay, these are great. These are, amazing events, but what is your purpose for putting on these events? What are the benefits of these type of events? And then even getting it and taking it into their staff and saying, okay, cool. Now they're using this to write grants. And now they're starting to put money for video for their grants into it. And you know what I mean? So they're starting to think about this. Like And we want to do the same thing with kind of like nonprofits, because you can write that into your grants
application. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've really enjoyed like taking something that I think could have been very mundane and kind of, like, this is cool event, make it hype, make it cool, make it seem like everybody had a good time, whether they did or not. But then take that and get to the core of like, what is their purpose? What are they trying to do? And how is this affecting the kids that they bring into these programs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just like me, like maybe if somebody took me to a filmmaking program when I was in middle school, I would have done that. You know what I mean? Because that's how I joined the ROTC. Somebody came and I was like, and pitched ROTC, and I was like, well, I'm going to the Army. This is great. This could help me. You know what I mean? And that's how I joined the JROTC. I did that for 4 years, and then I came in as an E3, so I made a lot of extra money because I had that that automatic jump. So, but yeah, so what if somebody had came in and said, hey, guys, you can do a career in filmmaking? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm already doing that in my head right now.
Right.
So yeah, and I think those are the things that I look for, like, in stories, because I feel the parallel there. We do things like with their motorsports is more than entertainment. They're literally putting money to teaching kids about motorsports, but motorsports isn't just the drivers. It's the mechanics. It's the marketers. It's the people who are running logistics. It's the people who are building the parts, shipping the parts. There's whole industry around it that supports us. There's medical staff. There's physical trainers.
Costume and...
Design.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So it's like...
kind of like filmmaking, right? You don't know what's behind the scenes except you see the fast car driving around.
Well, and too, and even in this... Sorry. In this, you get to just really... You get to learn so much about what one company does. You know what I mean? So it's like... I don't know. I've come in love, and I have learned to love and really enjoy and appreciate learning the inner workings of any company that we go to, or any family that we see, like learning their story, but learning like, oh, cool. Well, this they do this, and this. And then you can take those little things and apply them to like filmmaking stuff. Like, oh, I like the way they did their logistics thing, or, hey, this little bracket thing, maybe I could use that for a piece of gear or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we went to Signs by Craney. I'm like, well, one day we're going to get a Flint, Michigan Films and Flint Film Foundation signed by Craney kind of thing.
Yeah, we are. You hear that, Dan? I like Dan Craney. That was one of my favorite interviews. I keep telling him we're going to have him on the podcast here.
He is really good.
He's just a cool, laid-back human.
Well, and he's done so much, like in general, like not even just in the community, but like nobody knows that he built the Batman sign for Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
like that was what Signs by Craney did
from Flint.
From Flint, he's got stuff all over major chains, even like the Churchill sign. He did the Churchill sign because he used to own it, and that's like an old Slotsky Deli's sign.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. He just take it here, turned it upside down, and then built like a little showbox. You know what I mean? So, but in those little pieces, that's what I really enjoy about being like doing this in Flint, is like you learn all the history. Mm-hmm. So,
well, and since you kind of just moved right into that, why Flint? Why did you decide to? I mean, I know you were here, but you have this passion about Flint that I love. So, like why did you want to start Flint, Michigan Films growing here?
Oh, I mean, being traveled, since an early age, like even when I was in high school, I went to like a leadership academy. I went to like a boot camp through ROTC. But you would say like, oh, you're from Flint, and everybody would be like,
You hate that so much.
It makes me so mad. But then of course, like, I came back and, a couple years we had the water crisis. Like I literally had just and I had a job in the news when I first like professional job, kind of like when that all went down, you know what I mean? So like, it was like being fed to me 24/7 and reading that. But I called Flint, Michigan Films like years before that, was really just about, I wanted people to understand that this was once like probably like the richest city almost in the entire world. Like probably maybe New York and a few others might have been, but this was like where everything kind of came from. And like when you go to Europe, cities are built for people. When you come to America, America is built for cars and industry and for, you know, continually for innovation. So basically like we are kind of the story of America. Of course you had trains, but that individual pursuit of freedom, being able to take things and ship them anywhere in the world, being able to be mobile to go anywhere in the world, that all stems from Flint. You know what I mean? That big, huge boom. And then even in the world wars, like instantly we became the place where it's like, oh, we had the best manufacturing in the world because we would take these cars that were being manufactured and use them for ammunition. We would use them for Jeeps that we would send over there. We would use them for tanks. You know what I mean? So this place is, I think, like at the core of who America is and why America is the country that it is today, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? Like we are America. Through and through. I don't think there's very many cities that have impacted the United States, which then means has impacted the world, just like Flint does. And to see us being one of the first places to be like disinvested in, like we were the first place to see like this is what happens when capitalism fails and then the government fails and you break things down. And the people just were always like, they had like this chip on their shoulder, but there was always this like, well, let's just get together and we're just going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? And I think there's such a sense of community here. And even, you know, we can talk about like, like the rich people and everything like that. But we had Millionaire's Mansion, but what most people did in Flint when you were higher class is you wouldn't send them off to boarding school like your other people in other states or maybe even other cities. You would send them to the local schools so they'd get a local education. It was the wealthy of Flint, and this is why we have so many. We have so many great foundations and great organizations that have helped take the brunt of capitalism leaving. I feel like no other city really had that because of the choices that the people who really, you know, made the money off of the automotive industry and everything did for. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
I get.
Like there's just such a culture there at the very top, and it trickles down into the community, and it's still there today. And you know, Flint is such a place like nonprofits. There's so many nonprofits here, and it's for people trying to continuously make a difference. So when you have 75% of all hire, I think it might have changed a little bit, being in the nonprofit section, your entire base is really trying to just make a difference in a place. And I don't think you see that hardly anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's perpetuation for arts and culture. Flint's always been a great art town. It continues to grow as an art town. So there is kind of, I just wanted to be a part of something like that, to see like, okay, what do we do when our idea of capitalism changes and fails? And I think Flint's had that issue that we've been solving for a lot longer than the rest of the world. And I really do feel like Flint is going to be a place that shows the rest of the world how to do this without gentrifying an area, without pushing out the people who are originally here. I think it's just a very unique space, and it's fun.
It's so fun. We have so much fun.
We have so much fun because we go out into Flint. We don't just say, oh, I don't go downtown or I don't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, you're going to have some bad stuff in Flint that happens, and you're just going to see it. It's called the Flint tax.
The Flint tax. You always say that. I did not. I moved out here from Waterford to Swartz Creek and never had been into Flint until I met you. So I lived out here for 2 or 3 years, and then we started dating, and you took me to all of the places.
What did you? I never really asked you. What did you hear about Flint before?
I don't. obviously the water thing, right? The water thing. But I don't really remember, like, when we moved out here thinking anything terrible about Flint. I just never, I was just in my little square in Swartz Creek. I never ventured out of there.
Okay.
Until we started dating, but yeah, like it's a whole new world. I wish people, there's so many local people, I think, that do that same thing.
Yeah.
They live around kind of like the suburb kind of thing, and they don't go into town. But man, what were we talking about the other day? There's like, how many festivals does Flint have in a year? Like, it's something crazy.
144.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like just festivals, get together, summer. And like, there's always something to do here.
Always.
But yeah, or worse, like there's a lot of people that work downtown and then jet out to their other areas and never spend any time here. You know what I mean? So it's like, getting people to understand like that Flint is really cool.
It's so cool.
Flint has like 1,000 things going for it. You know what I mean? And it's like, cool. Do you want to like just go home and retreat to your cave, which is fine. You know what I mean? That's part of it. Some people are happy. Like, I go to work, I do the thing, I take my kid to softball practice. I don't really participate in the community as a whole. But then they wonder why when hard stuff happens or when they're down and they have to like deal with this with their small community, it's like there's a whole community out here. There's resources. There's tons of opportunities for if you have a problem and you want to solve it, you can solve it through the help of like people in Flint and the Flint community, or if you need this or you need that. I don't think like when we've asked for help, we've never like not been able to receive it, but because we know what's out there, we know what to look for. We know that there's opportunities here. We know that we're not on an island in Flint, that because people in Flint just want to do cool stuff in Flint and make a difference.
It's so true. It's so true. I don't know. How do we gotta get, look, I'm like, how do we get more people out here?
Well, I mean, I think it's just kind of like this, like promoting people, what they're doing, promoting things, telling stories, and that's kind of why we started this, was like, we don't want to just be a company that tells, we make, nonprofit commercials, we make commercials, we make film, we want to like, oh man, they made that film in Flint, or hey, I just saw this thing that they did, that from somebody that we taught at one of our classes, like create this little army of storytellers to really engage not only community, but engage the world with like, hey, there's really cool stuff with Flint. You should be a part of it. Come in, make a difference, join the community. You know what I mean? And this is how you park downtown.
Watch out for that big lot.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm here and it's my hometown, but I don't know. I feel like I've been everywhere out in the world, and like I feel like no place has such an active community as Flint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say like Detroit. I'm sure there's a bunch of places, but I just feel like it has the right amount of like very small city, lots of stuff to do, lots of ability to make an impact. Like I feel like here you can easily be a big fish in a small pond and make real economic impact. You can make real community impact. You can just make a difference here, where I think in some of the other cities you become a very small fish with a bunch of small to medium fishes, and then a couple of big fishes that eat up everybody's resources.
Good visual.
What would you say like is your biggest draw for wanting to do something like with Flint and with film?
I think, like you had just said, I've lived in like Waterford. I grew up in Farmington, so I've lived down there, but I've never been part of like a community that's such a community. Like I love being part of that. Like it feeds me, right? Like I really feel like I can make a difference. Film, it's a new interest to me. Like it's something that I've never really have experienced before or done, but I love that it is, we say filmmaking, but it's just part of being creative in a way of storytelling. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for people to tell their stories. I do believe that Flint needs to know that the people here, the organizations here, the things that are happening here are so much more amazing than talking about a water crisis. And I just think that it's 5 years from now, I just can imagine all of these stories being told and not only impacting the people that get to tell them, because I feel like that's also kind of a way to, I think everybody, it's like therapy, right? Like getting your story out can be therapeutic for not just you, but for other people as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's the right space to do what I love, which is that storytelling.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, so what else? What makes you tick, Cory James Taylor?
I don't know.
God, you don't know?
What makes me tick?
And maybe that's not the right word. What makes, how do you keep your passion? How do you keep being excited? How do you keep, when things get hard or there's pushback or let's be real, sometimes there's times where we're all stressed out about, the next job or where that's coming from. What keeps you going?
I mean, I just don't think that I only see myself doing one other thing, you know what I mean? But I don't feel like I'm ready to, I feel like I still got way more in the tank here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see myself, if this didn't work out, which I've been saying for a while, I would be a personal trainer, a physical therapist or something like that. But I don't know, what I love about this is there's always something different. It's always someone new. It's always a new challenge. And I mean, Jim Carrey always says that his dad was funnier than he was. He could have been an amazing stand-up comic, one of the best, but he chose to do the family thing and work at a shop. And, he was let go from that shop and he gave everything to that shop and he hated it and he was miserable and they cut him. You know what I mean? So Jim Carrey always says he's you could struggle doing the things that you love, or you could struggle for the paycheck for the things that you hate. And you could still mess that up. You know what I mean? That could still be taken away from you. So I just always think that you might as well do something that you love and that you're passionate about. And I think I'm just stubborn too. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't know. I like the going from I have nothing going on to I'm so busy that I can't think straight and maybe I need a vacation. And then I 3 months later, I finally get 2 days and I'm okay, that was enough. Let's go back to work. But there's always something to do. There's always a new technique to try. There's always a new light to try. There's always a new lens that gives you a little bit of this or, a new thing that requires a new way of thinking. I mean, I think that's kind of what keeps me going, you know what I mean? And then I do especially now, as we've built a little small community of people and individuals that kind of share the same vision, but also it's we just get to hang out and be stupid together, you know what I mean? And, but we get work done and we get to be ourselves and we don't have to worry about an HR department, you know what I mean? So...
That's so true. I love our crew. Our crew's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
So what, let me ask you a question.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
One
you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap this sucker up.
Oh no.
Because you always get to ask this question to everybody else, so I'm going to ask it to you. What is your dream or hope for Flint?
I thought about this a little bit today because what is my hope? What is my wish? I'd say if I had a hope for or a wish for Flint, it would just be that I hope we collectively figure out a way to help each other heal from our trauma, whether that be capitalist trauma, whether that be physical trauma, whether that be violence or just a trauma of, oh, you're from Flint and somebody giving you a dirty look, or oh, you're from Flint, how's the water? Like, I hope that we can heal from that, help each other to heal from that, and really come together to make this city the city that we all know that it could be, and make it even better before, because we do like to talk about what the city was like. The city was this, the city is this. It was also racist as shit and segregated as shit. So now we get the chance to take that back and to make this great beacon for people to be at, but for everyone this time. So that would be my wish.
I love that. How is there a way that you think that that could happen?
I think, and it's one thing, it's always interesting is like, me very well. I'm a very blunt human being, and I'm a very hard pressed, like, hey, let's do this. Let's keep this going. Let's push this. I push, you know what I mean? And I push people past their comfort zones, and I push people past their breaking point, including myself. But I think that makes me better. I think what I would say, though, is what I've learned about doing this and having this kind of mission that we've started is being a little bit more, finding that like compassion / like, hey, listen, I know you're going through this and this is super hard, but if you don't get your ass up right now, you know what I mean? You're going to be stuck there. So finding out that way between that compassion, but also with that sternness. And I think that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about having the company, having Flint, Michigan Films, and kind of having this purpose is like, it makes me a more compassionate person. And I think that's what you have to do. You have to have this compassion and this kindness, but also I think you have to have this like, hey, I know it sucks, but we got to do this. And so I think if you can find, everyone can, kind of blend that together and come together and like, hey, we're just going to do this and it's going to suck and we're going to learn things about each other that we probably didn't want to know. And I'm sorry that you went through this, but you're not alone. I see you, but that doesn't mean that you just get to sit in it.
Yeah. Mic drop. I'm like, I don't even know what else to say to that.
Well, I will say thank you for like, because I mean, we had talked about like, is this a conversation? I feel like I got interviewed. So it was nice. And like I said, we talked about like being nervous and stuff like that. So
yeah,
no, but it was nice. Next time I'll have to write a bunch of questions for you.
That's funny. I didn't, I just kind of, it's different when you know each other, right? You're like, what kind of stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah, right. What do you want for dinner?
Yeah, right. I hope Fernando's okay. Listen, we put Fernando on a wireless fence yesterday, you guys. We're going to talk a little personal right now. I could not handle it. I literally, the dog started screaming because he got zapped and the thing was on a little too high.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Cory made me go in the house.
I did.
He was like, "You just go in the house. You can't handle this." And he was right. And I had to call my mama, and I cried on the phone with her while he trained Fernando.
I was just running him around, shocking him. You know what, though?
It worked. It worked yesterday. Like this morning, he was like peeping around, like, "How far can I go? How far can I go?"
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of like what I mean, like, because like. I wouldn't say like I'm not a hard ass, but like I will know that like, all right, I'm gonna shock this dog so I don't see him dead like I saw Carl. You know what I mean? Like because every time he goes towards there, I just see little Carl with his little tongue out all.
Stop it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, and that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like when I say you have to be compassionate, but you also have to say like, look, I'm sorry this happened to you, but now it is your issue to deal with. I know it's not your fault, but it's your problem now and you have to solve it. And if you get shocked a little bit, you know what I mean, to make yourself better, to make yourself a little safer, to make sure that you are around and able to, because Fernando loves people, and because Fernando is around, he makes us better. He helps us with the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like when we're tired and exhausted, we got a little dog to come to. And because we did that with Fernando, you know what I mean, and we did give him that tough love, like he's going to be around for longer because it's only a matter of time if we didn't do what we did.
That's true.
But, and I'm not saying we should run around shock people. Maybe that's...
Oh, Lord.
I'll do it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what we need. Yeah, like the Simpsons episode where they're in therapy.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe... So next episode, we tried shock therapy. Yeah, we love it.
It works, actually. That's so funny. Well, I think this was good. It was good to get to know who Cory James Taylor of Flint, Michigan Films is.
Mm-hmm. Next time we'll get to learn who Melissa Miller is of the Flint Film Foundation. Or you can just start doing your live stuff all the time.
Okay. Heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I don't do 3 lives by the time this goes out, you got to call me out.
I will.
Okay.
I'll go live and call you out.
You're such a turd. All right. I think that's it for today.
Thank you.
You got anything for me? That's a wrap, baby.
Bye.